What's going on, YouTube? Let me talk to you I'm going to try to get this to 10 minutes. I'm telling you, 10 games today. We're going to discuss it. I'm going to give you my favorite plays, but I'm also here to get your mind working and thinking about how to approach the slate. I don't want to sit here and try to spoon feed you. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to give you options. I'm going to try to get you thinking in the way you should be thinking to approach these things on PrizePicks, Sleeper, Chalkboard, you name it. I will cover it and do my best. Think of me as step one in your process. You should be able to turn on this YouTube, watch it, use it as a podcast, whatever, and you will get a quick, brief rundown of the top games and plays that you need to be worried about. My goal is to simplify your time for you, okay? That's where I come in, and hopefully you have a fun time while you're listening, and maybe, just maybe, you learn something. So with that being said, if you do like what you see and you do learn something, go ahead and hit subscribe, but more importantly, smash the like button. It helps me out, it helps other people see the video, and hopefully, just hopefully, we continue to grow. You guys are amazing. Now, we're going right into it today, boys. We got around 10 games, maybe even more, that are on the late hammer slate, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. I'm going right over here to Jalen Johnson, the thumbnail, 36.5 fantasy score. It is in the mix, and I'm going to talk to you about this game for a hot minute here. 260 point total, which means whether it's Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella, DeJounte Murray, or the cold Trae Young, you need to have exposure to at least one, if not two, if not all of them. You could literally make a full game stack here on Flex Friday, baby. Absolutely. Listen, I tell everyone in the Discord, on Flex Friday, play whoever you want. It's a free roll. It doesn't matter. You're going to get your money back, win, lose, or draw. So just play whoever you want, and that is going to be the key to Flex Friday. It's a free roll. So do what's going to make you happy because you cannot lose. Don't stress it out. It's $20. You get it back, win, lose, or draw. So with that in mind, let me bust out my handy dandy notepad right quick, which the notepad was on point yesterday. It was a full sweep. So let's go. Jalen Johnson, 1.10 fantasy points per minute with an 18% usage rate, and I will talk about the other two in a minute. But yesterday, as I said, sweep Kuminga, Jamal Murray, Joker, and Sokan. Cash all their fantasy scores, buddy. Sweep it up. Some days are like that, just as the thumbnail implies. If you watched this YouTube video yesterday, you could have went 5-0 just following the basic principles from this video and this channel, but I will get to that later. For now, we need to talk about Jalen Johnson, okay? A lot of people on Twitter are probably going to be on this guy because he's been doing a lot of things since he came back from injury. Now, I hemmed and I hawed and I decided, what am I going to do here with these Atlanta Hawks? Am I going to go with Murray, Trae, Jalen? I decided Jalen because he's in the same matchup as Trae and DeJounte, but has a little bit easier of a path. But make no mistake about it, I like Trae, I like DeJounte, I like Clint, I like Sadiq, I like all of them. You can literally make a case to play all of them. Again, folks, it's a 260 point total, if not 263. So you need to get exposure to it, whether you like it or not. And you know we're going to talk about the other side of that coin. Absolutely, we're going to talk about the other side of that coin. But for now, Jalen Johnson is getting the rub. I like his points, rebounds, his PRA, all of that. I'm pretty sure they moved it from when I initially locked it in. Here's the fly in the ointment, if you will. He only played 29 minutes last game, and it was a close game. The game before that, he played 37. The game before that, 35, and then that pesky 29 again. So he's going to need around 32 to 35 minutes to get this done. I believe that he will get it again. 260 point total and a close spread. Brothers and sisters in Christ, I'm in the mix. And if I go down with the ship, I'm going down with the ship, buddy. It is what it is. So if you don't want to take Jalen, which I don't know why you wouldn't, he's in the mix, you can literally go over here to Sadiq, who's going to be old reliable. Look at his last five. I already know it's green beans. All green beans for Mr. Reliable Sadiq Bey. But let me tell you something about old Sadiq. The man ghosts second half like it's his job. Religiously ghosts second half. So if you want to take a shot on his first half, you can. All right. And then old Trae Young. This was at 49.5 earlier, but make no mistake, at 50, it's in play 100%. It was between Jalen and Trae, and I literally flipped a coin. No, I'm kidding. I didn't flip a coin. I want to take Jalen because he has an easier path. But let me talk about Trae Young for just a second. I'm trying to do this video quick because I'm going to have a long live stream today like I did yesterday, and I will talk about that shortly. But these are also in play for Trae. 29 points. It's crispy push equity. You can go to his points assist. You can go to his, well, they had 4.5 turnovers for Trae Young, which is what I touted last time in the Discord, and I have him projected for 4.5 turnovers, and he had like 5. Listen to me carefully. If they put 4.5 turnovers back up on the board, that literally is the play you take for Trae Young. I know it's crazy coming out of my mouth, but the fact is 260 point total, fast-paced matchup. The dude's usage rate is going to be over 30%, just like I showed you in my notes over here. 1.45 fantasy points per minute with a 31% usage rate. That means the ball is in his hands 30% of the time, folks. And it's a fast-paced matchup with an extremely high point total, so you better find his turnovers and take a shot on it over. I don't know why PrizePicks took it off the board. Probably because they're thinking, man, it's probably a free square. But all these are in the mix, folks, with Trae Young, okay? So we got Jalen Johnson. We talked about Trae Young. Now, what about the other side of that coin, old crush? What do we do here? Well, this is where it gets hard and difficult, and I'm not too sure myself what to do. Remember, there's a ton of games here, so there's a lot we can do, but I'm trying to condense it into at least 2 to 3 games for you. I will have projections and discuss all the other games in the live stream today, later on today around 4:45 Central for the paid Discord subscribers. But we're talking about the Pacers here. Stay on topic, kid. You can go with Tyrese Halliburton. This is very, very scary. I will be the first one to admit it. 55 fantasy points. A lot can go wrong. So maybe you want to go to his points plus assists down here at 41.5. Okay, this is 100% in play. I'm not 100% what I'm going to do with these Pacers yet. I will either be taking Tyrese Halliburton or I will be taking a role player to run it back from the other side. His assist line is super high. My gut's telling me to take under here. Again, 14 assists is a huge number. My gut's telling me to take under, but I'm not sure I can do it. I don't know if I have the courage to take under in this spot, but you need to have some exposure to Tyrese Halliburton. I wouldn't call him a core play, but one of those Pacers is going to be a core play. It's just a matter of figuring out which one is it going to be. Is it going to be Jalen Smith, Aaron Naismith, Bruce Brown? Folks, that's up to you to decide. You're going to have to decide that, but we will discuss that in the live stream later today. Now let's move on. Did anyone say Donnie? Yo, Donnie. It's Donnie Mitchell season. He's playing the Wizards, the poverty wizard. You already know they're poverty. He's playing them again. Now, just like last game, he basically was going to soar over, and then he didn't play the fourth quarter. Why? Because I already just told you why. The Wizards are total and complete and utter poverty. The franchise, the state, well, it's not really a state. It's a, I don't know what you would call it, a territory, because Washington, D.C. is not really a state, folks. But the fact is, it's our nation's capital, and I hate to say it, but with all the problems in Washington right now, it's only fitting that their basketball team is complete joke too. So, what do we do with old Donnie Mitchell from Donnie Brasco? What do we do with him? Well, you could say, I'm not trying to predict blowouts, just like last night with the Spurs and the Bucks, and you scrap all that and you say, I'm not predicting any blowouts. Give me over on 50 fantasy points. I'm taking it. And I wouldn't argue with you, and I wouldn't begrudge you one bit. I got him projected to go over 50, but I don't predict blowouts in my projection model, so you have to factor that in. All of these are in play. The assists, the rebounds, the R plus A, the points, all of old Donnie Mitchell is in play, folks. Absolutely. So what I did is I sprinkled in some NBA first half, as much as I hate to do this because it's inflated, and I went right here, Donnie Mitchell first half fantasy, and I took a shot on it. Okay, 27, 30, 37, 11, 27. He does excel in this spot in fast-paced matchups, which is what this is, and I will take a shot on all formats with Donnie Mitchell, okay? And the same can be said for the man with that big afro, Jarrett Allen, and hopefully the lights aren't too bright and he continues to be a wagon. Bang! 5 green beans, 27, 24, 36, 26, 32. He's absolutely been a wagon. I liked his PRA before they got bumped. Now his first half fantasy is here. This is what will shield you from a blowout, but you have to know whenever you take first half anything, you're rolling dice, baby. So don't come back on my comments if they sell and be like, the first half sold. Nobody cares, buddy. Nobody cares. It's your decision. You're gambling, my brother in Christ. So make your choice. Choose wisely. So we talked about that. Now there's 2 more that I'm going to discuss. Well, there's going to be more than 2 that I'm going to discuss, but the next guy that I'm going to discuss needs no introduction. It is none other than the process himself, Joel Embiid, at 62.5 fantasy score. Bang, I'm taking my shot. I don't care about the spread. I don't care that he's likely only going to play 3 full quarters. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is wagon. The man has been a wagon. 69, 68, 76, 67, 69. Now he plays the Knicks. Not that great of a matchup. I'll be the first to concede that argument. But the fact is, Joel Embiid is matchup proof. There ain't no man on that court that can stop Joel Embiid. I don't care, okay? I don't care. Nobody is stopping him. The only question is Joel going to show up tonight and decide that he wants to play basketball and continue his 30-10 streak of 30 points and 10 rebounds tonight? Does he want to continue the streak? Does the streak come to an abrupt end tonight in Philadelphia? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And if you are afraid of the blowout, you can literally go over to the first half just like we did for old Donnie Mitchell, and you can take any one of these. PRA, 18 points, fantasy, all of these are in play. He's been literally cashing all of them. He missed one against the Raptors. That's literally an anomaly. But all these are in play for Joel Embiid, okay? He can literally drop 20 first points in the first half. He does it religiously. So this would probably be my favorite one here if I am going to attack his first half. But I'm most likely just taking the full game, folks, okay? Just go. Let me challenge you with this real quick. Just go watch a 76ers game and watch what happens when Joel Embiid's on the court and look at everything, how it plays. He sucks up so much usage and literally just does everything until he gets gassed, because he does get gassed around the third quarter. And then he starts to slow down his production. But for the first 2 quarters, my brother, he literally dominates and crushes. It's crazy. Just watch the game. I'm telling you, he destroys it. He crushes it. And I will take my shot on him once again. And on top of that, speaking of that same game, I'm going to go right here to Tyrese Maxey and take less. I'm taking less on his points and less on his PRA. Now, what is my favorite out of the 2 here? It's going to be his PRA. I have him projected to get 23 points and around 32 PRA. So it's a 3-point differential in my model. So I am taking less at 35.5 PRA. And I like taking less here on him and more on Joel Embiid, because whenever Joel Embiid's on the court, everyone else plays second fiddle to Mr. Embiid. It's just how it is. I'm telling you, watch the game. On top of that, if it does blow out, this will be in our favor here. Even though I will say this, blowout or not, Maxey plays 37 to 38 minutes. So whenever you do this, you better be scared, because it is going to be scary. Now, I've made my peace with it. It is what it is. I'm taking it and I'm moving on. Now, my bread and butter is fantasy scores, and they don't have a full allotment up yet for everyone, but they are starting to trickle in. And the next guy that I'm going to talk about is the one and only, the bearded man, the big man, James Harden. Is he back? Do we have James Harden from 2019, 2018, 2017? Is that James Harden back? I'm not sure. But at 38.5 fantasy points, my brothers and sisters, you best get exposure to it. 229 point total game, 1 point spread. I don't like this matchup for them. I like the matchup on the Pelicans side, but I don't like it over here on their side. But I am still going to ride this train until I am forced off. You best believe that I'm riding this train till I'm forced off, because the beard does beard-like things, and when he gets in this mode, he just cashes it all. So James Harden, you just made the list. And again, I'm doing this live, and as I can see it, they are releasing more and more fantasy scores, and I'm not prepared, so I'm doing this live. So Emmanuel Quickly, I talked about him the other day. I told y'all, I said he's starting to trend up in this new spot. He's literally in a great matchup tonight versus the Kings. 28.5 fantasy score. Emmanuel, meaning God with us. He's in play. His real points, his fantasy score, all of it. Emmanuel Quickly is also in the mix. He's on the list, folks. The last game against Memphis, he played 33 minutes and shot 18 times. Memphis plays a lot tougher defense and slower pace than the Kings do, so I am taking my shot here on old Emmanuel Quickly, folks. He's in play. If he plays 30 plus minutes, I don't see how he doesn't get 28.5 fantasy score. But like I said, if you don't want to take his fantasy score, you can take his real points. Again, this is a dart throw. These aren't core plays. The core play is going to be the Hawks, Jalen Johnson, and Mr. Joel Embiid. Those are my 2 favorites as of now. But as they start putting these fantasy scores out, it is critical that you guys get in the live stream today, because there is a lot to digest here. Things that come into my head like this: Anthony Edwards, 46 fantasy score less. The Houston Rockets, they give up the least amount of real points. They play at a slow pace. It's a low point total. I honestly think that this is a spot where Anthony Edwards could go under. Probably on his assist or R plus A would be optimal. His fantasy score, not so much, but I'm still going to take less there. Again, total dart throw, but that is what I am doing at this stage of the video. Now, we do cover all this stuff and build slips together and answer questions and more in my daily live streams. Now, you may ask, Crush, where are your live streams? Well, you go to CaptainCrush.net, gold package. I sound like a broken record, but this is how you get in. You gold package package gives you the option, gives you access to my live streams, my Discord server, which is where I host the live streams, all my projection models, and my playlist. And on top of that, my community members and role members that post winning slips themselves. And speaking of such, last night I said 5-0 last night, question mark? Well, look for yourselves, boys. All of these things, were they put on a playlist? Some of them were. We had Vassell, Wemby, less on Chris Paul's R+A, over on Jamal's fantasy score, over on Kuminga's points, PRA, and his fantasy, over on Podzmiski's real points. A lot of stuff hit for a lot of different people, folks. Let's just look at a couple of these. Now, I realized yesterday was a day where there was 2 games and a lot of people showed up, but still, even in those days, it's hard to find a W. Now, the fact of the matter is Giannis went nuclear yesterday, and I told everyone if that game did stay close, he was going to go off. And unfortunately, I was on the underside of his points. It happens. My projection models did like him to go over. Old Sturdy over here took Giannis and Joker. He kept it simple, the 2 studs, and he literally turned his protected play into a monster day. Shout out to Sturdy. He's been killing it lately. Chuna's always crushing every single day. She seems to be finding W's. It's crazy. She had Joker 13 rebounds just like I did, and he did sell the bag, but she still was able to get 10x and I think a 25x as well. A lot of people had W's. This is why it's critical you get in the live stream. And I know there's people in the Discord that don't show up. Look at this. Right now, online 100. And yet when I do a live stream today, which is down here, for those of you that are in here, live streams, it's all the way at the bottom, okay, at 4:45 Central, I only get 80 to 100 in there. You need to be in there, especially if you're paying for my Discord. That is what you're paying for, okay? So get in there and stop being lame. I know some of you guys are working and everything else and you can't make it, and I understand all that, but if you can make it, get in there, okay? I try to do them late when people get off work, 4:45 Central, etc. But that is my shout out to the Discord family. Appreciate all you guys. What stinks is they're all celebrating and crushing and winning by the time I'm already in bed, so I don't get to see it till I wake up. But I'm proud of all you guys. I'm glad you guys found your W's. Good on you, brothers and sisters. Now, there's one more thing that I'm going to talk about in this video right here, and that's going to be one man that has no hair but has a beard, and his name is it's White. Derek White was at 34.5 fantasy score. Now, they've inflated it up a point, but I would be amiss. I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention Derek White. I'm not saying he's a core play, but he's absolutely in play in this matchup. The spread is a blowout spread. You're going to have to make some decisions here, but Derek White has block and steal equity, point equity, rebound equity, assist equity, and to top it off, he doesn't really turn the ball over too much. He does get turnovers, but not too much. So his fantasy score, it's in play, folks. It's in play. Have exposure to it, and that's what I wanted to close with. I will say one other thing. Kristaps Porzingis at 43 fantasy score. It was just at 38 the other day. They moved it up 5 points. I think less here could be a move. It is scary. As you can see, the last 5, he's been dominating. I'm just saying because of the 5-point spread differential that it was just at. It was at 38. Now it's at 43. Seems like it's high. So literally, you could take less there. But I did take his real points last night thinking that it was going to be actually bumped up, but in fact, they bumped it down, so I missed out the value. That is sometimes the risk you take when you take plays the night 4. Sometimes it works in your favor, other times it doesn't, so I got him at 22.5, but his points at 21.5. I like it even more now. It's in the mix. Both of these guys need to be considered in all formats. Folks, if you're new to the channel, like I said, smash the like, hit the subscribe. Today's a little bit different. I rushed through it, but I'm trying to get this video out before so people can actually see it. I bid you all adieu. Good luck in all your contests tonight, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Here's the salute, and as always, let's crush.